Alright, welcome back. The Verge of Silence event is now active. Now, we used to have this event a couple months ago and I personally have enjoyed it a lot. It was really fun. I really enjoyed the PvE aspect of this event. Now, last time I was using the Belgorn and today I will use the Machariel. The event can give you some pretty decent rewards. I'm personally after the implant upgrade materials for my barrage implant, but you also can get free experience, Lazarus units, and other things that are very nice and can be very important. Now, this is a rare opportunity where I will play around with the sniper Machariel. Now, usually I fight this ship with autocannons. After all, my Machariel is for PvP primarily. But for this event, I will use the... I'll actually use both autocannons and the long-range artillery cannons. Of course, the build will be a little bit different. The nanocore is still the good old Dark Halo nanocore. I used this core for, I don't know, more than a year now, and so far I don't plan to change the nanocore. Okay, well then, let's start with the event. Let's warp to the sleeper base at 100. And then we can
warp drive active.
Shooting down the sleepers. Now usually you have a lot of players here, 100 players per system. Sometimes 101 player. Not really sure how that happens, but it does happen. Okay, let's go after the cruiser targets first. The small targets can be quite difficult to tackle. Can be quite difficult to hit, not tackle, my apologies. So I have to rely on the other players to web the target.
Enemy ships detected.
But at long range that should not be a big problem. After all, at long distances the Machariel should be able to track. And I also forgot to mention that they have improved the ship models in the latest update. Not really sure how many players have noticed that, but the ship models look definitely a little bit better than before. Which is nice, always nice to have good looking ships.
Enemy ships detected.
Okay, now I have to make sure not to get too close to the sleepers, because at close distances the artillery cannons will not track the target. I also like how there's a carrier just chilling above my ship. You get points by participating and shooting down the sleepers. There's also a Vexer lurking around, okay. Very nice to see cruisers as well. You can basically use any ship you like for this event. Frigate, destroyer, cruiser, anything that you like to fly. In my case, I took out the Machariel because I've been flying this ship a lot lately. I really enjoy flying it. It's a
Enemy
very nice ship.
ships detected.
It's a very nice ship. Although not really sure how can I compare the Machariel to the Belgorn. Both ships have their different purpose. Both ships are fun. But now when I think about it, the question is, do I have more fun flying the Machariel or did I have more fun flying the Belgorn? The Belgorn has created so much salt. I love that ship. I really do. That thing was insane. The A-type Belgorn that I sold, yeah, that ship was something very unique. And I want to create something. I wanted to create something very similar to the Belgorn with this Machariel, and I think I'm on a good track to do that, because this Machariel already blew up a lot of ships, and also the first ship that did shoot down a space span, a Barghest, at least one of my first ships that has destroyed, actually two of them. The Machariel has destroyed two space spans.
Undocking.
One was 12 billion and the other was 14 billion. Those are one of my best kills to date in this game. Okay, so I have swapped to the auto cannon build, so I will now be at close range and I will test out this build. Now I really like this passive tank build. It's super tanky and still has over 3000 DPS. So I will probably use it.
Warp drive active.
Haven't really had a good chance to use this build in PvP because most of the time I run gyro stabilizers with this ship. Basically I go for maximum possible DPS, a thing that I used to do on the Cinnabel a long time ago, and that seems to be working really well on a battleship. For our current operations,
Warp drive active.
this type of build is working really well. However, when I go in no sag systems, I go and swap the gyro stabilizers into this build, just in case I start taking a lot of damage. I should be able to tank a lot of damage. With this current build against lasers, I have around 95% resistance, so lasers shouldn't be a big problem. Even if the target has implants, I should not take a lot of damage. Same can be said about the railguns. I also have pretty good resistances against railguns. Missiles might be a problem. After all, missiles do omni damage. And against cannons, I think I should be good against cannons as well. Actually, I already fought a couple Machariels that did do good damage against my ship. However, I didn't have a tank built. At the time. However, I would be very curious to see how this build will hold up against a Machariel. I would actually use this build when I go and engage a battleship, but having that extra DPS is very important because I'm usually trying to shoot down the targets as quickly as possible, just in case they have reinforcements nearby, which is the case usually. So with high DPS I can destroy the target and safely warp out and cloak. And yes, my Machariel is a Black Ops Machariel in most cases. Actually not in most cases. Sometimes I go and slap a clocking device on the thing and it works. It works really well, surprisingly. I also like the map design of this event. Definitely one of the better looking maps in the game. And so far no lag, that's impressive. We have so many drones, so many stuff and things, so many things going on, and not even one frame drop. No black screen as well, which is very nice. I mean, I haven't seen a black screen like ever on this device. This phone is actually
Enemy ships
quite
detected.
strong and it doesn't suffer from that problem. Let me take range. Those sleepers have spawned awfully close. And all of them went after the rattlesnake. Now I remember in the previous Verge of Silence event, the sleepers actually blew up one very tanky Raven Striker in seconds. This rattlesnake seems to be holding really well, probably a brick tank rattlesnake. Also a good moment to take some screenshots of the game for a thumbnail. The game on this device looks really good, but unfortunately for some reason when I record all the extra details and effects that I have enabled don't seem to be that visible. Or perhaps they are visible, but during the video editing they get less obvious, I don't know. But I always try to make the game look as good as possible. Big fights are fun when you zoom all the way in, up close. Even in big fights I like to zoom all the way in. Alright, sorry for the weird cut. This should be, I think, the last wave. Or perhaps it's not the last wave. But we have a lot of DPS present here.
Enemy ships detected.
You know, I've noticed a lot of teamwork in this group PvE event. And I really wish that the developers will expand on this. For example, they could, you know, add different scenarios. There's a lot of possibilities with a event like this. Could be very fun. And of course, there is no real ship loss. If your ship explodes here, then you don't have to worry about losing it. Although, I will still say be careful because there are some really weird bugs present in some of the previous events. And if you remember in the Dormant Realms, at one point you actually were losing modules and the ships were not... you were not able to get the ships back, and a lot of players have lost very expensive modules and team cores. So, because bugs like that can happen from time to time, I would still say that you should play and you should approach this event like there is real ship loss, just in case there is a unknown bug that can actually cause you to lose the modules and the ship. After all, this is Eve, and things like that will happen, so it's better to be prepared for them. And in my case, I'm well prepared for that. This Machariel has water co-optimizers. I had this ship for so long that I don't know how this ship will go down, but as any other ship in the game, this Machariel will someday go down. Or perhaps I'm wrong and this ship will live for more than a decade. Who knows? Anything is possible. I know that most of my original ships are still alive. Well, they were alive. Most of them are now sold. But the Machariel has a very special place for me, and I don't think that I will ever sell this Machariel. I really like this ship, and it's literally one of the first Machariels to be produced. It's also my first faction battleship, and I would like to mention that this Machariel has a very nice history behind it. It survived so much. It was really a very fun time when the ship was produced back in Syndicate 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I have no idea when. 2.5 years ago, actually, to be more accurate. The Machariel has had a very chill PvE life until I have decided to actually use it for PvP. And, well, I'm very glad that I decided to use this Machariel for PvP. After shooting down over 100 billion with this ship, yeah, it was a very good choice to use this Machariel for PvP. I actually still like to use this ship for missions, just because it has so much DPS. Although the barrage implant is not the best for missions, but it has already high DPS by default, so it's not a big problem. Or it has really high DPS with the quad gyro stabilizers that I use. My mission build is really similar to the PvP build. Only 3 modules are changed, and everything else remains around the same. Well, then we have finished this anomaly, so let's go and dock. Not sure if it's important to leave the base for
Warp
it
drive
to
active.
disappear. But just in case it is, I always warp out when the anomaly is depleted. Okay, let's go with the next round.
We're being warp scrambled. Ships detected.
My apologies for the weird silence. I had something in the background that I had to do. While I actually record this video, I am actually hunting, so if I'm silent for a second or two, it's because I'm trying to figure out what's the best warp in to the target. Basically, while I record this, I also am already preparing the next video. And I can tell you right now, I'm not going to spoil anything, but man, the next Machariel video will be fun. There's a lot of very nice targets with the Machariel. Okay, now back to the Verge of Silence event. It's a very nice opportunity to actually go and obtain all the necessary materials for the implants. I'm not quite sure if you can actually sell them. If you can, then it's a very nice thing. It's a very, very nice thing if you can actually sell the... Is that an orca? Well, we have an orca running the... fighting over here. That's actually hilarious. That's actually an orca. Well, players are eating everything they have in this event, and I love it. This is going to make for some very nice screenshots as well. I think, not really sure if it's going to be as glorious as the screenshot that I made with the Balgorn, but that screenshot that I used as thumbnail was beautiful. I nailed the exact moment, the perfect moment for that. But here, I think I already made a couple of good pictures of this. I also like how there's a cyclone just chilling there. The cyclone fighting alongside of battleships, carriers, and I think I've seen one dreadnought just flying around. Basically, I have to admit, this event, it's very simple, but it's also extremely fun. You can bring whatever ship you have and you will have fun, definitely. It's really entertaining. Doesn't matter if you fly a cruiser, you can use a cruiser with long range and just orbit at 50 kilometers. You can easily shoot down the smaller ships without a problem. Basically, the big ships are going after the larger sleepers, while the small ships can easily go after the smaller ones. After all, sleepers can be a little bit difficult to hit if they orbit outside of wide range. Small ships don't have a problem with them. Although I remember last time there was definitely a lot more carriers. However, I don't see as many carriers. Actually, there's one, and well, technically the Orca is also a capital ship, so there's two of them. There's an Abaddon lurking around, and a bunch of Machariels. There's an Apocalypse, there's a Balgorn that just warped below me. There's a lot of very nice ships. Now, I will just give out a very nice idea right here that I have for this event. The developers can actually do something similar like this, but change couple aspects of it. For example,
warp drive active.
Have you ever heard of the first ever Titans that were made in Eve, the ones that were like 450 kilometers long? Well, technically, they could make a fun event like that, where it would be the pilot's goal to go and shoot down a Titan like that. I think that would be pretty damn fun. And of course, it would be a mass PvE scenario like this, where you will
warp drive
join
active.
Hundreds of other players to go and shoot down the Titan. Or it doesn't have to be one of those Titans. I actually forgot their name, and I don't want to butcher their name, but they have a very specific name. I think it's Lapetan Titans or something like that. Perhaps I butchered the name, so my apologies for that, but those titans are really big. They're actually as big as a planet, as a small planet, around 450 kilometers. So it would be really fun if we could get an event like that in a scenario like this. I'm pretty sure a lot of players would
We're
like
under
that.
attack.
Or perhaps not even, doesn't
Warp
have to be
drive
that
active.
titan, it could be the normal titans. Basically a event where we go and shoot down a titan. That would be hilariously fun. Basically like a big boss where we have to assemble a very nice fleet. A lot of very nice ideas. I think something like that might actually
Warp drive active.
happen at one point. Or perhaps with the Triglavians, something like that. The World Ark is also a pretty big ship, classified as a dreadnought, I believe. Although it's 50 kilometers across, it's a big ship. Could be a event to go and shoot that down. That would be fun. I'm just, giving some ideas that I have. Hopefully the developers are listening, because I'm pretty sure a lot of players would like that. I'm pretty sure a lot of players would like it. Actually, you know what? I will actually do something about that, and I will give the developers my own ideas for the potential future events that we might have. But for now, this event is
Enemy
also really
ships
fun.
detected.
It's a very nice event to relax, to don't have to worry about anything, basically. You just relax and enjoy the game. After all, that's the point of games, to be fun, and surprisingly, as simple as this event is, it's actually really enjoyable. Now, I really want to get the barrage maxed out, to be honest. Not really after maxing it out, but would be hilarious to have that thing maxed out. Perhaps this event will help me to level it up to a decent percentage. We will see. But so far, out of all implants that I've tried out, the barrage implant was definitely, I would guess, the most suitable for what I do. The most suitable implant for my ships, for PvP. Perhaps I will get the high power coil implant next if I decide to fly the Megatron Striker. I also have that ship. I have a lot of Fisk, so I can. I'm looking for ships that I can fly. So the Megatron Striker definitely on the list. I already had the ship once, but that was a long time ago. Now I want to fly that ship again. It should be fun. If my numbers match up, I should have around 10,000 DPS, which is okay. It's a lot cheaper than the Machariel, that's for sure, and it has similar DPS, so I think I will have a lot of fun flying that ship. I think I did hit around 6,000 DPS a long time ago on the Megatron Striker, but I quickly replaced the ship for the Apocalypse Striker. No, I still have that ship, but I don't fly it that often. It's still a really solid battleship. Apocalypse battlecruiser. Well, I mean, I already called the Apocalypse Prophecy. Apocalypse to Command. Yeah, that was the mistake that I did. Was hilarious. But yeah. How did they make that mistake? Who knows? But I did. Well then, that was a very nice run in the Verge of Silence. I will definitely be playing this in my
Warp
spare
drive
time
active.
just to be able to level up all the implants that I have. Basically all the implants, basically talking about the barrage implant only. So with that being said, hope that you enjoy the game, hope that you enjoy this video, and with that being said, stay safe, fly safe, and I'll see you next time.